Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to the CEC Gurukul lecture series. We are discussing on marginal costing and break-even analysis. In continuation of my previous lecture on marginal costing and break-even analysis, to start with, I'll be talking about break-even analysis. If you recollect, in my previous lecture on marginal costing, I talked about cost volume profit relationship, right? So that is called CVP, cost volume profit relationship. And in this extension of this, we'll be talking of break-even analysis. So this break-even analysis is a widely used technique to study the relationship of cost volume relationship. As this word cost volume relationship means that at different volume of output, what is the cost and what is the profit, and what is the impact of change in the volume of output or sales on the cost of the firm and on the profit of the firm. This we studies under the cost volume relationship. So in the narrow sense of the break-even analysis, it is concerned with determination of the break-even point, because the calculation of the break-even point is so important in marginal costing that even this term break-even analysis is sometimes known as the determining of break-even point, means this is being treated as synonymous with the break-even analysis. On the other hand, I would say the break-even point is one of the important issues or one of the important thing that we do calculate while calculating the break-even analysis. So at this point, the break-even point means the point where the total cost is equivalent to the total sales. When I say total cost, means the variable cost and the fixed cost. In our previous lecture, I also referred this point that in marginal costing, the fixed cost and variable cost is being segregated, and variable cost is the basis of determining the cost, or variable cost or the marginal cost is the basis of decision making, right? So in a broader sense, it is used to determine the probable profit or loss at given level of production or sales. I am talking of the break-even analysis. So break-even analysis in its broader sense is being understood as to calculate the profit or loss at different levels of output or sales. Now, after talking of this concept of break-even analysis, let's talk of the uses of break-even analysis. I'll be discussing these points in detail, and we'll take up the practical questions or practical examples of this break-even analysis. And these things I'm referring that what are the benefits of the break-even analysis? Why do firm makes this break-even analysis? So first is determining the break-even point. I just said that very important component of the break-even analysis is finding out the break-even point, and break-even point is that point where the business earns no profit, no loss. Every entrepreneur, every businessman wants to know at which level of production, at which level of sales, at what capacity level it will become break-even. Because the first basic objective of any entrepreneur is to know that the firm doesn't make losses, right? And it starts making profit. So it is only after the break-even point firm starts making profit. So if every entrepreneur would like to know at what capacity level the firm will become break-even point, especially in those businesses where the gestation period is long, the business means in the large size of business, you are not it's not easy to calculate that at what level the firm will start making profit. So the entrepreneurs or the promoters would always calculate in advance at the time of the launch of the business itself that at what level of capacity the firm will become break-even. So this break-even analysis helps a lot in finding out the break-even point. The second important benefit of the break-even analysis is determining the selling price which will give the desired profit, right? You want to know that I am making this much of investment, I must earn this much of profit. Say if you're investing say 100 crore rupees, you would like to know at least minimally you should get 10% return on your capital employed. So you should earn 10 crore rupees profit annually. So if you want to know at what level of sales, at what level of production capacity, I am presuming whatever you are producing, you will be selling it, right? So at what price or at what level of sales the firm will able to earn this much of desired profit. This can also be find out with the help of the break-even analysis. The other use may be determining sales volume to earn a desired profit or return on capital employed, right? So whether I call it selling price or I call it desired level, because what is desired level of sale? It is nothing but the production capacity or the sales multiplied by the selling price. So point number 2 and point number 3 are more or less similar, right? So in point number 2, we talk about the determining of the selling price, and in point number 3, I am talking of that what should be the level of sales in order to make a desired profit, right? So sales volume to earn a desired profit or return on capital employed. As I said that if you invest 100 crore rupees and you want to earn 10% return on it, so your desired profit is your return on capital employed, your investment is 10%, right? So you want at least you should get 10% return on investment. So what should be the volume of sales so that you can make a profit of 10%, right? Or you can earn a return on capital employed of 10%. Determining the cost and revenue at different levels of output. This is the basic thing that in the cost volume profit analysis, on the break-even analysis, we find out that at different level of sales, at different level of output, what will be our revenue and what will be our cost, right? Because cost also do changes as the level of output or level of sales changes. So is the revenue. So at different volume of output means, say for example, if you are producing 10,000 units, what will be the cost? What will be the revenue? If you are producing 20,000 units, what will be the cost? What will be the revenue? And so on, so forth. Suppose your firm's production capacity is to produce 1 lakh units. So 1 lakh is the 100%. So from 10% up to 100%, or for that matter, any level of production or any level of sales, you would like to know what will be the cost and the revenue at this different level of output or sales, right? So determining the cost and revenue at different level of output, this you can find out with the help of break-even analysis. Determining most profitable sales mix. If you are producing more than one product, right, you are dealing with the different items, different products. So which sales mix of different product is most profitable for the business, given the production capacity, given the machine capacity, given the capital that you have within these limited resources, which sales mix you should choose so that you can make maximum profit or most profitable sales mix. This can be also find out with the help of the break-even analysis. It studies the effect of change in selling price or of price differentiation in different markets, home market and foreign market. You want to know that supposing if you want to reduce your price, by reduction in the prices, what will be the impact on the profit of the firm, you want to find out. This you can find out with the help of the break-even analysis. Or you are selling at one price in the home market and you want to sell at different price in the export market, foreign market. This is called price differentiation. It may be in the local market and the foreign market. It may be within the country itself. You are selling at one price in one market and you are selling at another price in the other market. Say in northern India, you are selling at one price. In South India, you are selling at different price. On West India, you are selling at a different price. So if you differentiate this price, what will be the impact on the profit of the firm? This you can also find out with the help of the break-even point. It studies the impact of increase or decrease in fixed and variable cost on profits. That is, if there is a price changes, means there is a inflation is taking place, your variable costs are going up, right? Your fixed cost may be going up. So if there is a change in the, means increase or it may be decrease also. So if there is a change in the cost, either in variable cost or in the fixed cost, what will be the impact of this changes in the cost on the profits of the firm? This can also be studied with the help of break-even analysis. The other use can be compares profitability of various firms, right? So we calculate PV ratio, we calculate contribution to sales ratio. This we will be discussing in detail in this very lecture and in the next lecture. So it helps in comparing the profitability of different firms within the same industry, or it may be among the different industry also, right? So it compares profitability of various firms. It also helps in management decision making, like make or buy decision. What is this make or buy decision? Make or buy decision means that supposing you are using a particular component, a part in your factory, right? So either you produce this part within your factory, or you buy it from outside, you procure from outside. Suppose you are in the motorcycle business, you make motorcycles, right? So there are various components that are being used for producing motorcycle, for manufacturing motorcycle. So these various components which you uses while manufacturing motorcycle, whether this particular or a particular component you should make in your factory, or you should buy from the outside, or which is a more profitable situation. We are talking from purely from economic point of view. So which is a more profitable option for you? This you can also find out with the help of the break-even analysis, right? Discontinuation of a product line, like that you are making various products, right? Out of these products, you in the business normally we calculate, in the financial accounting we do calculate the total profits of the business. But not only the total profit is important, but each of the product which you are producing, out of the different product which you are producing, some may be more profitable, some may be less profitable. So if there are some production constraints, if there are some constraints of capital or like that, in that situation, if firms would like to know that which products are more profitable and which products are less profitable, or there may be a situation where some products may not be profitable at all. So you would like to discontinue those products. So in these type of situations, break-even analysis helps, right? So it helps in determining cash requirement at different levels of operation with the help of cash break-even chart. The way we prepare the break-even chart, similarly we also prepare cash break-even chart. Means in the cash break-even chart, while finding out the cash break-even chart, in the fixed cost we don't include those costs for which we don't pay cash, like say for example depreciation, right? So we don't pay cash for depreciation, right? So these type of fixed cost are these type of fixed for cost in which we don't pay cash is not being taken into account while calculating the cash break-even chart. So it helps in determining cash requirements or different levels of operation with the help of cash break-even chart. So these are the various benefits of the break-even analysis. We will discuss in the time to come. We'll discuss these benefits, but we'll take some practical examples, and with the help of those practical examples, you will see that this break-even analysis is of immense use in the business decision making. After discussing the benefits of the break-even analysis or uses of the break-even analysis, now let me come to the graphic presentation of break-even analysis. See, there are two ways of finding out the break-even analysis. One is called algebraic method, the other is called through the help of graph or chart, right? Algebraic means with the help of the equation sales minus variable cost is equal to fixed cost plus profit, and there are various algebraic equations and formulas with the help of which we find out this we make break-even analysis. Instead of algebraic method, algebraic equations, I am showing you the break-even analysis with the help of a graph, right, which is known as break-even chart. So this break-even chart is a graphic presentation of break-even analysis. I'll show you just now. It not only shows the break-even point, but also shows profit and loss at various level of activity. What your understanding is that this break-even, with the help of the break-even chart or break-even graph, we can immediately find out the break-even point. Means just by having a glance over the break-even chart, you can find out at which level of production or at which level of sales the firm will become break even. There are different terms which I'll show you, that margin of safety, angle of incidence, right? The loss area, the profit area, the contribution at different level of sales. This all we can find out by seeing the break-even chart. Means just by having a glance over the break-even chart or break-even graph, we can find out what is the contribution at different levels of sales, what is the profit at different levels of sales, and so on and so forth. So it portrays information like break-even chart, profit and loss at different levels of output, relationship between variable cost, fixed cost, and total cost. VC means variable cost, FC I have used for fixed cost, and TC means total cost. MOS means margin of safety, CM means contribution margin at various level of sales and angle of incidence. So this summarizes the break-even chart. That break-even chart shows profit or loss at different levels of output, what is the relationship of variable cost, fixed cost, total cost, and it also shows margin of safety, contribution margin at different level of sales, and the angle of incidence. I'll be discussing each of these. Now please see this graph very carefully. This is the break-even chart, and what you are noticing here is on the x-axis we are showing units of production, right? These units are in thousands of units, and on the y-axis we are showing this sales revenue and the cost. Cost and sales revenue is being shown on y-axis, and on the x-axis you are showing production units, or you may call it sales units, right? You may say write in terms of units, you may time in terms of rupees also, right? So if you are being given the selling price. So what you notice here is on the x-axis we are showing the different level of production, or you may call it sales also. So production 1000, 2000, right? 4000, 6000, 8000, 10,000. In terms of 2000 units, it is being shown on the x-axis, right? Up to 20,000. This 24, 26, 28,000, right? On the y-axis, we are showing cost and revenue. Now, to start with, the very first line which I'll draw will be of total cost line, right? So as you know, total cost is equivalent to fixed cost plus variable cost. So even if you are producing zero, means you are selling, or you have started your business and you are not producing at all, the business is running, business is in operation, and suppose even at zero level of sales you bound to incur your fixed cost. So what you notice is the cost line is starting from 70,000 rupees, right? So this 70,000 rupees you are plotting, 70 you are plotting even at zero level of sales. And then in the fixed cost, so you just draw a line which is horizontal, a line which is parallel to the x-axis of fixed cost line. So this 70,000 rupees is the fixed cost line which is bound to incur at any level of production, whether you are producing zero or you are producing 28,000, whether you are selling zero, your sales is zero, or whether your sales is up to the 28,000 units. At all levels of sales, your fixed cost is 70,000 rupees. So you draw a line which is parallel to the x-axis, that is called fixed cost line. And then in the fixed cost, at each level of sales or at each level of production, you keep on adding the variable cost portion, right? So fixed cost plus variable cost is your total cost line. So what you see here is that is a line which starts from 70,000 rupees, right? And it increases in proportion to the increase in the level of production, right? So you draw a total cost line, right? So at any level of sales or at any level of production, the difference between fixed cost and the total cost line is your variable cost, right? So there is a line called variable cost line, total cost line, which is the sum of the fixed cost and the variable cost. So what we have drawn is, first we have drawn fixed cost line, then we have drawn total cost line. Now the third important line which you can see on this chart or this graph is the sales line, right? Sales or total, I will call it revenue. right? Total revenue. Total revenue line is starting from 0. That is, when you are not producing at all, when you are not selling, your sales revenue is 0. And as you keep on increasing your sales, right, your total sales line is increasing, it is going upwards, and at each level of production or sales, means when you are selling 10,000 units, the sales line is number of units multiplied by selling price. And one of the assumption of the break-even chart is your variable cost per unit remains same, right? Your sales price per unit remains same, right? So total cost line is one which consists of fixed cost plus variable cost. Total fixed cost is constant, right? So in the total fixed cost, you are adding the variable cost, you get total cost line, and then sales units multiplied by selling price. The line which you get is called the revenue line or sales line, right? So we have two important lines. For the time being, I am ignoring fixed cost now. Now you have two important lines. One is cost line, the other is sales line, right? And at 11,000 units, you can see in this graph that at 11,000 units, the sales line and the total cost line is intersecting each other. So as you are aware, that break-even point is that point where the firm makes no profit, no loss. What does it mean? That where firm's revenues are equivalent to its cost. So at 11,000 unit, in our example, in this graph, at 11,000 units, that is a sales of 1,10,000, right? Level, your costs are equal to your revenue. So this is called break-even point. This is the most vital point of the break-even analysis. And any sales level below this 1,10,000 level or below this 11,000 units level, your firm is making losses. So the black portion which you can see in this graph is your loss area. Means what is the relevance of the break-even chart or break-even graph? As I said, just by having a glance, pictorial evidence, right? So when you see a picture, it comes in your memory, right? So immediately you come to know by seeing this graph that any sales level which is below 11,000 units level is your loss area. And after that, you start generating profit. Your business starts generating profit. So sales level above 11,000 units gives you the profit, right? So this is the profit line. That is, your firms is making profit, and above this line, you are seeing that any level of production which is above. So what you find is that after 11,000 units level, your cost is less. Your cost line is on the lower side, and your revenue line crosses the cost line. It goes up above the cost line. So then the firm starts making profit. So that is all profit area. You can note here, supposing I would like to know at 19,000 units level, supposing my firm is operating at 18,500 or 19,000 units level, right? My firm is selling 19,000 units. So what is the profit at 19,000 units level? Immediately I have drawn a line, right, which you can see here, dotted line. So this line after the cost line is and the difference of the cost at 19,000 levels and the sales is my profit. So this line, this shows the profit at this 19,000 units level, right? So any level of sales which is above 11,000 generates profit. And as I keep on increasing my sales or production capacity, the profit is widening. The difference in the cost and the sales line is widening, so is the profit. That is, the firm's profit becomes more and more after the break-even point. And there is another line which I have drawn here. Line means I have shown, supposing I said my firm is operating at say 19,000 units level, right? Or say 19,000 units level. So what is margin of safety? In my previous lecture also I told you margin of safety is the difference between break-even sales in the present level sales and the break-even sale. So what you notice here is that this, supposing your firm is operating at 19,000 units level and your break even is at 11,000 units level. So this difference of 19,000 levels and the 11,000, this difference is called margin of safety. As you can see, I have put this is called margin of safety, right? So this margin of safety is the difference between present level of firm. I am presuming my firm is operating at 19,000 units level. So this is your margin of safety. So what you have understood, they have understood the concept of margin of safety, that we can see the margin of safety with the help of this break-even chart. We can see the loss area, that is, if the firm is operating below the break-even point, will make losses. If the firm operates above the break-even point, the firm will make profit. As you keep on increasing your sales, the difference of the cost and the sales line will keep on widening. So is the profit, right? So profit keeps on increasing as you increase the sale. And you can note one more thing, angle of incidence. This is the angle after the break-even point. So angle which you find, angle which you make of which is made of the cost line and the revenue line. This angle is called angle of incidence. So you will say, what is the relevance of this angle of incidence? I will say, broader is the angle of incidence, better it is. Means if the angle of incidence is broad, it shows more and more profitability of the business, right? If angle of incidence is narrow, it shows lesser and lesser amount of profit for the business. So this angle of incidence, the broadness of the angle of incidence shows the profitability of the firm, right? So the angle which you get after the break-even point between the which is made of the difference of the cost line and the cost line and the sales line is called angle of incidence. So with the help of this break-even chart, we have seen 3-4 important things. We have seen the break-even point. We have seen at different levels of output what is the cost. Just by having a glance, we can find out what is the cost, what is the revenue, what is the profit element at different volume of output, right? And the angle of incidence, the margin of safety. So this is the beauty of the break-even chart. We'll continue our discussion on marginal costing in our next lecture. Thank you very much. So in this lecture, we have discussed basically about the break-even analysis and the break-even chart. Thank you very much.